Hello and welcome to Stories, Tales, and Wild Yarns. I'm your host Jephthah, or Jep for short. In today's episode, we're going to be reading a story from Alaskan Adventures, The Early Years by Russell Annabel. I think you guys will enjoy this video, but please remember to hit that like button, that share button, copy the link, and share it anywhere you'd like. Please remember to subscribe, and if you'd like to please comment down below your thoughts. Even just a simple comment goes a long way to help support the channel. I say that because well, first of all, I like hearing what you guys have to say, but also, if you comment, YouTube will figure out that people like the video, and YouTube will try to share it with others. It helps the algorithms a lot. So, if you guys could do that and help me out, I would greatly appreciate it. So, without any further ado, let's dive right in. Here we go.
Northern Predator Number 1. The coyote, a newcomer to the north, is poison to all game. The gray old-timer who had come down to the beach to meet us as we sculled ashore from the motor launch was wearing patched overalls and a tattered muskrat cap. When we asked him if he had any theories regarding the scarcity of ducks and geese on the Chickaloon Flats this season, he made a wry face. "Sure," he said. "The coyotes are cleaning 'em out. You must have seen the sign if you've been hunting. The sneaking varmints are taking the country. Anytime a hen, duck, or goose sets down to lay herself a clutch of eggs, there's a coyote in the bush waiting for her to finish the job so we can move in and grab a free meal. The Indians were bad enough when it came to raiding nesting grounds. I've seen 'em load a 20-foot skin boat to the gunwales with eggs and wring the necks of young geese and ducks and throw 'em to their dogs. Yeah, I've seen it plenty of times. So has everybody else that's batted around in the coast country. Of course, the Game Commission, nice bunch of fellers those boys, has managed to put a stop to most of that, but now the coyotes have moved in, and so far nobody has had any luck discouraging them." We had heard the story before. It's a familiar one up north. In Anchorage, the local chairman of Ducks Unlimited had told us that surveys of nesting grounds along Cook Inlet, Turnagain Arm, and Knik Arm showed that the number of ducks and geese had decreased sharply in the past several years. Coyotes were responsible, he said. No doubt about it. Trappers had made their best catches out in the duck flats where coyotes were not supposed to go because they disliked getting their feet wet. In many cases, the trappers, using the remains of coyote-killed ducks as bait, had scored with sets made from abandoned nests. "It's a bad situation, but it can get worse, and it probably will," the Ducks Unlimited chairman said. "The coyotes are spreading west, toward the great nesting grounds between the mouths of the Kuskokwim and Yukon rivers. It's a coyote heaven, with countless nests, millions of young ducks and geese, lemmings and mice for winter food, and unlimited cover. In time, they'll cut off the western Alaska migration at its source, and every sportsman west of the Rockies will feel the loss. Then they'll work farther north and raid the big nesting grounds of the ducks that swing across Canada into the big Mississippi Flyway. If you think this is hollering before we're hurt, take a look at what's happened around here." We did take a look, and we asked a lot of questions. We talked to wildlife agents, trappers, sportsmen, guides, Indians, and Eskimos. They all told us the same thing. Coyotes had been reported as far west as Iliamna Lake and the Kuskokwim, and were steadily working toward the coast front areas and leaving a wake of destruction behind them. On the Matanuska, Knik, Susitna, Beluga, Chickaloon, and Eagle River Flats, you could plainly see the effect of their persistent raiding. Where the sky used to be full of wings during the summer and autumn, you now had to get out and really hunt to spot even a few flights. Everywhere around the marshy salt ponds there were signs of coyotes. Up on the Knik Flats one Sunday, a gang of railroad bridge workers had made a drive at low tide. They had jumped 14 coyotes out of the sawgrass and forced them to swim a river channel to escape. During a drive, a number of looted nests were found. In the same area, Roland Osborne, one of the territory's ace trappers, caught 54 coyotes last year. Examination of their stomach contents revealed they had been living on ducks, rabbits, and muskrats. Beyond question, the coyote is the most adaptable of American predators. Its range is from the southwestern deserts to the Arctic tundras. The ancestors of the Alaskan coyotes followed gold stampeders over Telegraph Creek Pass in 1889. They fed on the carcasses of horses that had fallen beside the trail. They throve in the new wilderness and spread swiftly into the valleys of the Yukon, the Tanana, and the Susitna. Within a short time, their shrill yammer was heard in the immense coastal river flats. This region suited them better than any other they had found. There was an abundance of food, a comparatively mild climate, heavy timber, and wet winter snows that crusted hard enough to bear their weight. They increased here with incredible rapidity, and sportsmen and government agents soon realized what a long, bitter fight they would have to wage to hold the animals in check. Unlike wolves, coyotes never run in packs, but hunt singly or in pairs, except during the autumn and early winter when the females are followed by their young. They breed in their first year and have litters with 4 to 19 pups. Smart, resilient, with an uncanny ability to avoid traps and snares, they often rear their young on the very outskirts of civilization. It is virtually impossible to clean them out of an area except through a determined campaign by expert trappers working winter and summer. The Alaska Game Commission, under Executive Officer Frank Dufresne, is doing all in its power to halt the increase and spread of the animals, but the agency is sadly handicapped by a lack of men and money. At this writing, it has only one predatory animal control man on the payroll. One man has an area somewhat larger than 1/5 of the entire United States to cover. This officer is, however, aided by scores of trappers, guides, and sportsmen throughout the territory. These men report conditions in their districts, keep a string of coyote traps working in season, and help carry out the government's educational program. We met Brush, Indians, this summer, who told us that the only way to save the ducks and other small game was to wipe out the coyotes. As anybody north of Seattle will tell you, that can be chalked up as a major triumph for game conservation. One great trouble in past years was that few Alaskans felt they could afford to trap for coyotes. There was no bounty on the animals, and the pelts brought only about $10. They simply weren't worth the time, trouble, and special equipment needed to catch them. Today, however, the government pays $20 for each coyote caught in the territory. A man who knows his business can make more money trapping them than he can make in trapping fox or lynx. As a consequence, in many areas, other fur-bearing animals are getting a needed recess, and the coyotes are close to being held in check. Perhaps shrewdly fostered by wildlife agents, a keen competition has arisen among top-flight trappers. Some of the results are interesting. For instance, all the expert men have secret methods of making sets, or jealously guarded scent formulas, or other dopes or gadgets which they trust will enable them to make the coveted big catch of the season. At present, a chap operating down Cook Inlet is using a contraption that has all the boys guessing. It happened that a rival trapper dropped in at this man's cabin one day and saw a number of sawed-off curtain rollers and a box under the bunk. While it was not, of course, the part of etiquette to take too close a look, he nevertheless managed to see that several of the roller sections were attached by cords to coyote snares. What made the discovery significant was the fact that the owner of the cabin had turned in 70 coyotes the preceding year, a top catch for the territory. Drop in any evening on practically any coyote trapper between Kenai and Fairbanks this year, and the chances are you'll find him sitting on the floor, brow wrinkled in thought, tinkering hopefully with a snare and a curtain roller. Den hunting, if successful, is one of the quickest methods of preventing coyotes from increasing. It is also a swell way for a trapper to make money hand over fist, since the finding of a single den usually results in 5 to 7 county checks. Up near the headwater of the Talkeetna, we met a sourdough who had worked out what seemed to be an almost foolproof system for locating dens. He used a dog who had been raised from a puppy on coyote meat. As the dog was fast and had a good nose, about all his owner had to do was start him out on a fresh trail and follow up with his rifle and a shovel. He told us he wouldn't take $1,000 in cold cash for the dog, and it was easy to understand why. Racketeers have, of course, been attracted by the large bounty appropriations. At least one outfit smuggled coyote pelts into the territory from Canada, where in some cases the bounty is as low as $1. Nobody will ever know, I suppose, how many hot pelts they turned in for the large Alaskan bounty before the Game Commission discovered what was happening. The racket didn't last long. Wildlife agents, working with Canadian Mounted Police, put over as neat a bit of wilderness detective work as had ever been seen in the north. The border runners were soon behind bars, with every prospect of remaining there for some time. Another chiseler brought a trunk full of coyote pelts up from the States and began turning them in a few at a time, alleging he had caught them in a river valley north of Anchorage. He had taken the precaution to put out a snare line in the valley all right, but the local wildlife agent was a man who got around. He happened to know that there was no concentration of coyotes in that particular area. Once suspicion has been aroused, getting sufficient evidence to convict the man was a routine matter. In addition to the inroads they are making into northern waterfowl and other small game, coyotes are known to kill young sheep and caribou. A few years ago I saw a pair of them pull down an adult doll ewe. Working with the deadly efficiency of timber wolves, they got above her in a meadow at the brush line, chased her down into the alders, and hamstrung her. Indians claim coyotes often kill sheep during the winter months by hazing the animals into deep drifts and then cutting their throats. We listened to a lot of coyote yarns this summer, but the one that impressed us most was told by the old-timer who met us on the beach at Chickaloon Bay. "There's a flock of swans that nest near some pothole lakes back against the hills," he said. "I don't know what kind they are, but a feller named Hal Everts came through here once and said there was only a few of 'em left in the country. Well, one day I was over there kind of scouting around, and I saw a coyote make a pass at some young swans while they were following their ma across a portage. The coyote came out of the grass with a rush and was just about to grab one of the young swans when the old lady spotted him. Well, gentlemen, I never saw anything like the beating she gave that coyote. She worked around him like a hoop around a barrel. She was hitting him so hard and so fast with her wings that he went over on his back and lay there squalling and kicking at her. When he finally got away, he tore out across the flat as tight as he could go, and I'll betcha he ain't had any more notions about killing swans." "There are a lot of coyotes, though," I said. "Some of them will figure out a way to move in on the swans. They kill just about everything that flies." The old-timer grinned wickedly. "Maybe they will, and then again, maybe they won't. I sent out to Seattle last month and got me 12 dozen No. 2 snares. Come spring, I'm going to string 'em so thick around those lakes that a coyote can't come near the water without getting hung up. That's the way to battle coyotes, mister. Put out lots of sets. No matter how smart the varmints are, they won't stop to look over every brush clump they stick their heads into."
Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please remember to click that like button, that subscribe button, and please comment down below your thoughts like I mentioned earlier at the outset of this video. It would really mean a lot to me to hear what you think. And to please share this video by clicking the share button down below and copying the link, that way YouTube knows you share the video. And please share it with anyone who you think would enjoy this. Please share it to any Facebook groups that you think would enjoy it, whatever you'd like to do. I would really appreciate it. I really want these videos to get more views than they did when I posted them on Jep's Outdoor Adventures. I don't mind people not clicking on a video because they aren't interested in it, but I think YouTube really just doesn't want to share these kind of videos. It won't try to do that, so you kind of have to help it along, if you will. So if you could please do that, that would be great. On Jep's Outdoor Adventures, these videos didn't get much more than a couple hundred views. So if you could please share these videos as many times as you feel comfortable and try and get it some more reception, that would be fantastic. I would greatly appreciate your support. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.